shots wide open, you take them every single time. And if you don't, that's the second, third actions that coach has been preaching daily, and just keeping everybody involved, not just myself. Playing together, playing a team way. And then obviously I just took what the game gave to me, and I made shots tonight. It's always great to make shots, but I think the better part is just playing together, and your teammates looking for you or you looking for them, trying to make the right play. And obviously on defense, we held them to 92 points tonight. You don't see that in the NBA today, so I think that's the best thing to take from tonight's game.
Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Bryce Lewis back at it again for another Believe in Hawks episode. Atlanta now on a 3-game winning streak after beating the Memphis Grizzlies tonight, 99-92. Dejounte Murray with a huge game, tying his career and season high tonight with 41 points. And every point was definitely needed tonight in this game. It was one of the ugliest games you've probably watched all season if you've been a Hawks fan. And it makes sense with the amount of injuries that both teams have. Memphis has been just documented how many injuries they have suffered this year. The Hawks, their injuries are starting to pile up. So you weren't expecting the prettiest basketball tonight, but the Hawks were able to get it done. Like I said, Dejounte with 41 in this game. So we're going to fully break that down. Then we're also going to talk about some comments that Hawks CEO Steve Koonin made on 92.9 The Game also earlier today. So that's that. We have that for you on Believe in Hawks. But like I said, going into the game breakdown, Hawks really, man, was not a pretty game, especially offensively, outside of Dejounte. You got some guys who were able to give you some contributions. Bogey was 16. Clint had a good second half. First half, he was pretty bad. Second half, Clint played better, made some shots, got 15 points. Getting 15 points from Clell is always big, gave you a double-double. And then 12 points from Hunter off the bench. Really didn't have that shot tonight, but was able to make a couple of shots in the game and overall. So, like I said, the Hawks did what they needed to do to win this game. Memphis is a team where a lot of the guys they're playing probably wouldn't be playing on a real NBA roster right now, and that just shows you the amount of injuries they had. So one thing you got to take away from tonight's win is Atlanta did not beat an NBA-level team. They beat guys with a couple of NBA players, obviously Jaren Jackson Jr., we know what he can do. Obviously he led the way for them with 21 on Memphis' side of things. But I mean, outside of that, Hawks pretty much did what they had to do to win this game. They shot 43% from the field. They actually had a very, very good 3-point shooting night tonight, 43% from three. A lot of that will due to Dejounte Murray. Pretty much were able to win the rebounding battle by 9. Be able to win the offensive rebounding battle by 5. That was really good. 9 steals tonight. Now, obviously, Memphis is still a good shot blocking team. They had 11 to Atlanta's 5. But overall tonight, like I said, Atlanta did what they needed to do to win the game. And this is something, the way that they've won with the injuries that they have, this is the way the Hawks are going to have to win games moving forward. It's going to be ugly. It has to be low scoring. And it's just a matter of, okay, can the Hawks defense hold up enough? And then can their offense get enough from them? I think when you have, especially with your bench pretty much right now is DeAndre Hunter. If DeAndre Hunter doesn't have a good game, you're not going to have a lot off your bench. And, maybe you can get a good game from Bruno like you've had before. And maybe, Garrison can get a couple of threes. But realistically, you're not going to get a lot of bench production outside of DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench right now because of the injuries. So it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward. They play the Pelicans coming up. So how will they look playing the Pelicans? A team that is good and healthy, because the Hawks have also been lucky playing teams that have had injuries. The Knicks didn't have Jalen Brunson. The Cavs didn't have Donovan Mitchell and a couple other guys. This game, we know the Memphis issues. Pelicans, for the most part, are relatively healthy. I just looked at the injury report for the podcast. Everybody's healthy except one guy, I think. So for the most part, the Hawks are going to probably get their first real test in about, they lost to Brooklyn twice, which I know some people were like, how do we lose to a team that has a worse record than us, but we could beat everybody else? But in terms of a real quality team that they're playing, first one they played in over a week. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how they do Sunday evening against the Pelicans in that matchup. One guy I want to talk about a little bit right now is Krejci. Got to start tonight, actually, which I'm sure shocked some people. one thing about Krejci I said that makes him interesting for the Hawks is that he's 6'8", he's built like a guard, but he's very, he has very long arms. He's a guy who very long wingspan, and he showed some improvements in his game from the last time he was with us. But he didn't obviously make the cut after the summer league this past summer. Came back now, a guy who can rebound because he's 6'8", can shoot a little bit, can defend a little bit too. He's made some improvements defensively. And so one of the big things that I took away from him playing tonight, even though the stat line does not reflect it, he did a lot of good things well. And he's a guy that, if Atlanta got back to full strength, I would definitely consider putting him in the back end of the rotation with the guys. Like, that's the 10th guy, 9th guy, whatever they want to do. Realistically, I'd rather have Kobe and Krejci be 9 and 10, just because Krejci can kind of fill in at different spots. He can guard 1 through 4. He's kind of a utility player for you because of his versatility. That's one of the things that will probably keep him in the league, is his versatility. And then if he can make shots, open shots, that's a recipe for sticking in the league and sticking on rosters. So a guy who, made a really good pass to Garrison Matthews and I believe in the first half for a 3, kind of was active defensively. And like I said, just put in some really good effort. So, he's a guy that I think has an opportunity to play in these next few games, depending on how long Jalen Johnson is out, which they're listing him day to day, and, make an impression on this coaching staff, to potentially still have an opportunity to play, still have an opportunity to get some run, even when guys start coming back, because this is an opportunity for people to kind of show when that they deserve to get run, even when the team, if the team gets back at full strength this year. And, right now it looks like the Hawks may be looking at a play-in still. Look like they may be a play-in team. So there's a decent chance that you could get the whole team back by that point. I know some people are assuming Trey's already done for the year, even though that hasn't been announced. Okongwu is supposed to be reevaluated, I believe, in 7 to 10 days again. He just got the walking boot off. Kobe just got is in a walking boot. He'll be reevaluated in 7 to 10 days. The Jalen Johnson, like I said, he's day to day, so that could just be any time. So realistically, outside of Trey, you should get Okongwu and Kobe back sometime mid to late March. And then the big question at that point would just be like, okay, when does Trey get back? And then, Jalen, whenever he returns to the lineup. So, that's kind of what we're looking at right now with the team. But, overall, I think tonight, it was ugly. I think you can't take too much from this game. You're just happy, Dejounte was the best player on the floor for both teams. He came out tonight and was aggressive. He kind of got a lay of the land and saw what type of game this was going to be. And Dejounte stepped up and did what he needed to do. I know Dejounte hasn't been the most efficient in the last couple of games in these last couple of wins, but for him to come out in this game and to play the way he played tonight was really, really encouraging. Because, Dejounte knows, like I said this before, Dejounte knows what the situation is right now for him. He is the best player on the Atlanta Hawks right now, and he has to show people why he's the best player on the Atlanta Hawks. And if this is a potential tryout for him, for teams to potentially look at him as a guy who they may want to make a move for this offseason, this was a game that they can look at. Oh, okay. Dejounte is capable of giving us that big 40-point game if needed. And that's something that is, when teams make that evaluation, they just try to okay, if we brought him into our program, brought him into what we want to do, what does that potentially look like with our guys? And can he do that here and within our offensive scheme? So, big game for him tonight, man. Really just got the 3-point ball going. Got to really talk about the improvement Dejounte's made with 3-ball. That 3-ball has been something that has unlocked his game because, we know what type of a mid-range shooter he is, and we know the type of pressure he can put on the rim when he attacks the basket. And he showed all 3 levels of his game tonight. He showed the 3-ball, he showed the mid-range, and he showed attacking the basket. When you're a 3-level scorer, that carries a lot of value in today's NBA. And so Dejounte Murray showing that tonight, showing the bag, putting Memphis defenders on skates, that was really important to see from him. And, if he can continue this efficiency, because, realistically, from this point on, realistically, he has to probably lead the Hawks in scoring every game, at least most games from this point on, until, Jalen gets back, just gives some offensive support because, Obviously, Bogey might have that occasional big game, or even Hunter. But, Dejounte, like I said, he's the best player. So he has to kind of, this is his audition of, okay, you're the best player on the team. Show me what you can do, And like I said, you're going to get some up and down performances. I think you always get that with any player who plays in this game. But, for him especially, it's just big for him to come out and play as well as he's played and, give and be a big part of why we won this game tonight. Because without Dejounte Murray, we probably would have lost this game tonight. And that's the truth of the matter. So got to give him his flowers, got to give him his credit, got to give him, his love. Because, Dejounte, when the trade deadline stuff happened, it was weird energy. Now it seems like he's kind of just like, you know what? I'm hooping, I'm balling, I'm trying to win games for my teammates, and we'll see what happens when it happens. So really good stuff there from him. But let me get into this. Steve Koonin, CEO for the Hawks, has came on 92.9 a game. He comes on every now and then to talk about just what's going on with the Hawks, right? And he's usually a guy who's pretty honest. He's probably one of the more honest people in the organization about like what's going on. He made an interesting comment today when he was talking about why the team maybe hasn't made moves in the wake of injuries and et cetera. And he mentioned that they want to do things the right way. And when I heard that, I questioned it a little bit because I asked that question. What does that mean? Because this is the quote. He said, "Money is not an obstacle just because of the fact that, the question is they haven't spent to upgrade the roster." He said, "Money is not an obstacle. It's getting it done the right way and doing it the right way. That's much more difficult than meets the eye." And I think a lot of people obviously weren't happy with that answer because I think the Hawks' situation, especially roster situation this year, people just feel like you haven't really made any moves to try to improve the team, and there's obviously improvements that need to be made. So what is the holdup? And the big rumor has been for the last couple of years is that Tony Russell does not want to pay tax. He doesn't want to pay money. And that's what's holding this team back from making or trying to improve is the lack of money he wants to spend. And with him saying that, I asked this question on Twitter. I said, so what is the right way? What does that mean? What I said at the beginning of the season, if you remember one of my first episodes of Believe in Hawks podcast, I said that, the Hawks are really expecting to improve internally this year. I don't think people believe they would live and die literally based off what they've done. They have literally made the commitment to just saying we're going to stick to whoever we have on this roster and hope for the best, even through injuries, through lack of good play, everything. And I've said the biggest thing that I think that somebody needs to explain is what is the plan? What is the goal? What are we trying to do? If it's developed, because the problem is if it's developed, then the question is why don't you play the young guys on the main roster? Why is the G League the place you're playing them? If you're committed to development and it's not winning, why are you still going with the veterans or the other guys on the main roster? But then if it's not money, then why haven't you made moves? Why haven't you spent? Why haven't you tried to acquire players to help fill gaps on this team and help work and fix the roster construction that or lack thereof for this roster? And so that in of itself, I think, is been a question. And I still think that's an answer that we are looking for and we are looking to have answered pretty soon. We want to know, okay, well, what exactly is the holdup? What exactly is holding you up from, giving the team and giving this roster what it needs to get the upgrades possible? Because the thing is that it makes the Hawks offseason, whenever the season ends, so uncertain because you don't know what the front office is going to do. Everybody and their mama know that moves need to be made, but the question is what moves will be made? And will it be improving the team? Are the Hawks going to invest in a youth movement? You have some young players with potential on your roster who you could just say, listen, we're going to get rid of some veterans, cut some costs, and we're going to play the young guys next year. And at least that way you have a direction, but we don't know. They haven't indicated anything because the last thing you want to see is the same guys you saw in G League this year. AJ Griffin, Kobe Buffkin, Seth Lundy, Muhammad Gay back in G League again. And it's just like, so what are we doing? So I think for me, when you make those types of comments, it's one of those things where I just think we need more elaboration. We need more than what they've given us. We need more so we can understand, what does that mean? What is the right way? Because they've said multiple occasions, spending is an issue. So why haven't you spent? Especially making a move like you did last summer, trading away John Collins. 2 years ago, trading away Kevin Huerter. Both of those moves were viewed as money costing moves, like cutting costs. So what do you mean exactly? So that's something that I think was just interesting that he said. And I know it's still something that I think a lot of people are looking for answers to. What is the agenda and what is the move of this team moving forward with the injuries and upgrading of the roster? So, and they're going to keep facing those questions until at least they give the fans in the media an answer on what the direction of this team is. Because all you heard is just development, improvement, and right way. What does that mean? Does that mean we are, and then like I said, developing the young guys, or what is that? So the development has happened. I've said that, Dre has improved, Jalen has improved, Okongwu has improved. Like, we've had guys who've improved, but it's like, what else? What else are y'all looking at? What else are y'all looking for? So that's gonna be the big thing, realistically, with the Hawks right now. But I think I'm about to wrap this up, guys. Pretty short podcast today. Not too much to talk about really coming out of this game outside the Hawks getting a win, going on a 3-game winning streak, and Dejounte Murray having a big game. Pretty much the extent of that, guys. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Brycey_2K for all my Hawks and Falcons takes. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're watching this on YouTube and like the video. If not, and you're listening to this through audio, don't forget to leave a rating and review as well. All of the love and feedback that you guys give me is very much appreciated, and I appreciate you guys letting me be part of your day. But that's all I got for you guys. It's your Believe in Hawks podcast. It's your boy Bryce Lewis. We'll see you next time.